Let's move on. The Seattle Seahawks at 1-0, an underwhelming win over the Dolphins in Week 1. Now they travel down the coast to face an LA Rams team that embarrassed itself, embarrassed the entire organization, embarrassed the city of LA.
The sport of football.
Sport of football. Humans were embarrassed by that game, a 28-0 loss. But, Mark, as we look ahead to this game, isn't this, as we were saying on our last show, kind of the Jeff Fisher way that they would all of a sudden play an inspired game against the Seahawks? They always seem to play the Seahawks tough.
They do. I think that narrative is going to come to a crashing halt. And if I'm wrong, that's on me. But this feels to me like the recipe for baking a disaster cake. Let me read this.
A disaster
A big
cake?
disaster cake. Let me read
That's
this.
all Mark's eating, by the way, now.
Let me read this
That's
to
the
you.
only disaster cake diet.
That is
Is that
exactly-
true?
No, I'm still on my raw foods diet till Cleveland wins.
That sounds
know.
like a disaster cake.
I did see you drinking some green sludge earlier today, so it is.
I
You
feel
are
great.
keeping up the diet for sure.
I feel great. Let me
I haven't always been like this.
let me read something to you.
Yeah.
Seahawks have not allowed a 100-yard rusher since Week 11, 2014, okay? That's basically the LA Rams' entire chance right there. The Rams average the fewest yards per game, while the Seahawks allow the fewest passing yards allowed. So if you put it all together, this is a big, giant robot landing in Los Angeles from Seattle that's just going to destroy the Rams. They lost 28-0 to the Niners. What is going to happen here?
In our pre-production meeting today, I guess you could call it that. We met in a conference room.
For like 6 minutes.
Call it a pre-production
Okay.
meeting. Mark referred to the Rams as a blooming bag of so.
Well, all right. I would like
Wait,
to
no,
see, this is my city. I would like to see them do well, but it was a very uninspiring. Look at Eric Dickerson, who should be the guy who's providing all this hope and this connection to the past, called the game an embarrassment, and that's what it was. It's on the Rams to come out and produce something different.
It was embarrassing. Eric Dickerson is a Monday Night Football sideline correspondent.
You have strong feelings on this.
But it's like a hot take television analysis from like 14 years ago.
Is there
The worst sideline analysis
I
that
mean,
has
okay,
ever
but
lived.
it's a
A historically bad
like a-
one.
There are some reasons to believe the Rams defense could give the Seahawks offense some fits. Both Seahawks guards were an abomination in Week 1. They got pushed around. Russell Wilson isn't the same quarterback when he can't use his feet, and he couldn't use his feet from the third quarter on last week.
Although they were in fairness to the Dolphins, I mean, they were worse even before he got the Seahawks offense had troubles, big time troubles, ever before he got hurt.
So I'm saying the Rams defense could give the Seahawks offense some fits.
My thing would be though, the Rams did nice work against the Seahawks last year, and they've done it before that
Swept
as well under Jeff Fisher. So it's things are in place. But you have Case Keenum at your quarterback, and you need to score points to beat the Seahawks. It's not going to be the same thing as last week, where Seattle's going to come out and be held to the kind of offensive showing they were points-wise. I just don't see it happening. What about a defensive turnover? I mean, this is Rams' offense has got issues.
It's never a good sign when your quarterback has to come out and tell you whether he's seeing ghosts or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not a good sign, by the way, when the quarterback's saying that. Usually people say that about a quarterback. When he's saying, I've seen ghosts
That's
out
a
there,
preemptive ghost denial.
get that guy out of there.
But the Seahawks defense, if you remember last year, started off the season so slowly. Didn't look like the Seahawks defense for half the year. This year they come out and they look like they're sick of all that. They look ready to go. Michael Bennett somehow gets better each and every year.
If Jeff Fisher gets a contract extension, by the way, we have to have an emergency podcast. Whenever it goes down, if it leaks on a Saturday at 3 p.m. and we're playing cornhole at my house, we need to all race to the office to talk about it. Does that feel like necessary?
I'm all in for that.
I think that's good show running by you.
I don't know if Sydney, our producer, would really appreciate
She understands
She
it.
might be watching BYU.
It's a long ride
I
from
can play
Disneyland.
along. That is a good point, though.